Welcome back. We were writing the topic regarding governor, and in that context, at least हमने basic aspect तो देख लिया था कि what kind of discretion does the governor has. He has to give chance to all the parties. If nobody is able to form the government, then only he is supposed to ask for 356. It cannot happen that he issues or he give opportunity to one political party and then says कि भैया 356 introduce कर दो आप पहले को देंगे whom to introduce मतलब whom to give the first chance if nobody is having the majority then that's governor's discretion उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है he can ask the least number of vote मतलब MPs with the political party उनको भी मौका दे सकते हैं however finally it has to be that the political party जो क्लेम करना चाह रहे हैं वो बोल दें कि मुझे मौका दो तब भी नहीं दिया तो चल जाएगा however before actually telling the president to impose 356 उनको मौका देना जरूरी है if nobody is claiming बहुत बार ऐसा होता है nobody claims it because they know that नहीं बनेगी सरकार तो फिर ठीक है फिर तो 356 लगवा सकते हैं but however you will give the opportunity ठीक है नेक्स्ट हेडिंग लिखिए जो डिस्कशन किया हुआ था हमने नागालैंड के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी डिस्कस किया था हेडिंग लिखिए गवर्नर्स रोल इन समन comma prorogation governors role in summon comma prorogation and determining the agenda and determining the agenda of the session and determining the agenda of the session. Write down in इसके नीचे लिखिए in Nabam Arabia 2016 का है in Nabam Arabia case Supreme Court said that it is not prerogative of governor to summon not prerogative of governor to summon or prorogue PROROGUE तो यहाँ पे GUE का जाएगा prorogue the session on its own and must follow the advice of Council of Ministers full stop continue it is only in exceptional circumstances where the state government has violated constitutional norms then governors are allowed to act on his own discretion full stop continue also if the governor has reason to believe if the governor has a reason to believe that Council of Ministers have lost the confidence, that Council of Ministers have lost the confidence of the House, lost the confidence of the House, then also it would be open, to the governor to exercise his discretion. Next line पे लिखिए, also at the same time, he is not a guide or mentor. He is not a guide or mentor to the speaker. He is not a guide or mentor to the speaker. ठीक है, पीटी में अगर आ जाए that governor is guide or mentor to the speaker, you will say no. ठीक है, अंडरलाइन कर सकते हो, that is not a guide or mentor to the speaker. Full stop. Continue. The state legislature does not function. The state legislature does not function under the governor. State legislature does not function under the governor. ठीक है, तो does not function को underline करो, because this may come in PT that state governor के under function करता है legislature, and you may think that okay, governor once gives the sign and only it will become an act. However, no, legislature is not under the governor. Governor is part of the legislature. However, it is not that governor is the head of the legislature. ठीक है? So the state legislature does not function under the governor. Full stop. Continue. The office of governor does not contain the power to act as a superintending officer, of legislative assembly, and to determine agenda of assembly and determine an agenda of assembly. Full stop. Continue. Such types of actions are violative of representative democracy. Such types of actions are violative of representative democracy. ठीक है? So now write down another heading. This is in context of the governor with Nagaland वाला जो context बताया था. However, the state is not important. The point is that should governor always look at the center, right? So heading लिखिए. Is governor bound to seek consent Is governor bound to seek consent of the center? Is governor bound to seek consent of the center? लिखिए, theoretically speaking, governor should be entitled, theoretically speaking, governor should be entitled to decide, theoretically speaking, governor should be entitled to decide in his own judgment, entitled to decide in his own judgment, full stop, continue, but in reality, comma, governor rarely act in their own judgments, independently of the center's view, center apostrophe s, center's view, full stop, continue. This practice cannot be regarded as being in conformity, being in conformity with the constitutional rectitude, ये लिखा हुआ rectitude, constitutional rectitude, ठीक है. Some before the break I had told you that rectitude मतलब होता है morally accepted behavior. So when we say constitutional rectitude, it means constitutionally morally accepted behavior, ठीक है. Next line. Even politically this practice is not sound. Even politically, this practice is not sound because center and state may belong to different political parties, full stop, continue. Therefore, comma, it is best to leave the governor, who is in the spot, free to decide, spot, free to decide and exercise his constitutional power as per the situation. ठीक है. Hmm. देखिए, in context of the governors, I've been saying that we need to see the exactly the behavior of these people since the independence. ठीक है, तो in this context, ठीक है, तो the point is we've got that heading लिखिए role and position of governor since independence. The heading is the role and position of governor since independence. ठीक है, तो heading लिखिए the role and position of governor since independence. Now, I would explain to you this particular aspect exactly what had happened, and through that we will be able to understand why this particular problem exists. The starting time of the independence, अगर हम देखेंगे, तो post independence we saw that starting में ना this office, particularly the office of governor, was not considered to be very important. इसको important मानते ही नहीं थे office को. मतलब in the starting of this, मतलब after 47, we did not consider this office to be very important at all. कोई जरूरत ही नहीं थी. The major reason was that at the center we had the same political party, center में Congress है, state में Congress है. So mostly the governors were also from the Congress and the CM was also from the Congress. So the point is there was no friction, था ही नहीं, between center and state. And if at all there was any friction, then this was sorted out through party mechanism. मतलब पार्टी में कंप्लेन कर दिए टू द पॉलिटिकल हायरार्की में, scientific context में. We didn't require representative of the union. The CM itself, they had good relationship with the central government because all were kind of freedom fighters. So they could, and they had good rapport with the centers, with the executives. So they used to speak directly if at all there was a problem. Well, starting में there was an insignificant stage. That the governors were saying that we are birds in the golden cage. The governors were saying that we have nothing other than to write fortnightly report. Okay? The governors were saying that the governors are there to cut ribbons and please others, or to cut ribbons and give gifts, awards. मतलब concrete substantial role of the governor was not there in the starting. The insignificant phase दिखता है. However, we find post 60s, particularly the late 60s, situation changed. But even before this time, if you look into the earlier years, there is no doubt that the governor is senior to the chief minister in hierarchy position में अगर हम देखेंगे, जैसे president जो होंगे वो आगे होंगे and prime minister पीछे होने चाहिए. If the prime minister आगे घूम रहे हैं, तो that's the subordination of the office of the president. कि वो आगे चल रहे हैं, president पीछे पीछे चल रही हैं, तो that's not the right protocol. However, hierarchy wise, the governor is senior and the CM is junior. However, अगर आप notice करेंगे, politically, CM is taller. Politically, that is, politically in the sense, the people like the political person in the sense directly elected people उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा पसंद करेंगे उनको. So generally the CM वही बनते हैं जिनका some political patronage is good. Governor may be somebody who may not, people might not even have heard of. However, chief ministers in that region थोड़ा political clout होता है उनका. So politically, the CM was taller, and this created informal hierarchy. एक hierarchy create होगी informal. देखो, there is no doubt that the ministers are appointed by the गवर्नर, ठीक है, अपॉइंटमेंट तो गवर्नर साहब ही करेंगे. Now we have a case where HP Modi Saab, he was the governor and he got to know about an appointment or about the appointment of ministers through radio. आप समझो, he himself was the governor of UP. However, the appointment of ministers, he himself got to know through radio. It means that CM might have done it, CM might have done it and said, use the name of governor, I'll see what happens. देखते हैं. This clearly subordinates actually the office of governor, that the governor himself does not know कि उन्होंने किसको appoint किया. That's totally wrong. YN Sukthankar was publicly humiliated by the chief minister. He did complain, however, no action was taken on the chief minister. So we do find that the office of CM politically tolerant तो हो गए थे. Late 1960s, when the state started having another governments, state political parties थोड़ा आने लग गए. At the same time, particularly 70s and onwards, politicization of this office started happening. Politicization होने लग गया. We started appointing failed politicians, apparently loyal civil servants. जैसे प्रभात कुमार है, PC Alexander, who was also the principal secretary to the prime minister. So failed politician में कहीं election हार जाएंगे तो कहीं और appoint कर दें. And that is still happening today also. If you see, Kiran Bedi madam lost the Delhi election. She was made Puducherry governor. Sheila Dikshit lost the Delhi election. She was made the Kerala governor. It's not unique to only these two people. However, Shivraj Patil, we've got a number of examples to show that sometime when the failed politicians or the one who is not able to win election by their charisma, those people are later on given the governance post. मतलब political post create हो गई है. Now, another political post, this is a constitutional post, however, this office now was exposed to politics. There were certain cases, the Karnataka, the Haryana governor did try to function autonomously, that is, center's representative as well as the head of the state. The center wanted 356 to be imposed into these states, however, governor did not give the report regarding that the state should go in for 356. And then these governors were removed. Basically, the center wanted that these governor please send me the report and that 356 should be imposed. And the governor felt that we don't require 356 currently. So these governors were apparently removed for they not insisting or not giving report on the 356. So we see that if the governor tries to become the head of the state, he is removed. So if the governor is like the agent of the center, there is the position of the governor is safe. However, if he tries to even become he would like to if act as head of the state, then though the career of the governor is over. Now we see later on, this in 2004, the political party had changed at the center. All governors were asked to resign. All governors. Had it been that the position is not a political post and only a constitutional or an important constitutional post, then even if somebody else has appointed the governor, why are we saying that you resign? However, the resignation of all these people were taken. In 2014, similar thing happened. The earlier government they lost, so the governors were all the governors were asked to resign. So the point, and there is no ground for the removal of the governor. Even if they would have resigned, they would have been removed. वापस बुला ले जाता. Now the point is, as these institutions, as these let's say appointment, as the removal has not been regulated, इसको regulate ही नहीं किया गया हुआ. Because of this, we have opened this beautiful constitutional post to politics. So if the governor of any state where this opposition government is different than the union, वो relationship governor का खराब होगा ही होगा. They would not behave in the right direction. Why? Because if they start behaving in the right manner, what constitutionally they are asked to do, they would be thrown out. हटा दिया जाएगा. बिल्कुल. I'm not saying that you use the term thrown out in the answer. However, that is the condition. So if my job is totally dependent on my boss, and if he says you come back, I would not have a job the next day. So there is no security of tenure. I am there till the pleasure of the president. And tomorrow, every day survival is difficult. So the more I torture the state government, the more I come in national news, the more important the executive would feel that I am there for them to the state. However, if I behave genuinely, they'll remove me. So it's not that don't feel, मतलब governor साहब का behavior अगर गलत है as per the constitutional rectitude, though legally not incorrect. However, the reason is that purely because the government is different. If this government is different, or let's say if the same government is there, total behavior same person का change हो जाएगा. So the person is not bad. We may have people who may not be good, but major issue is that transfers and removal, or even the appointment and the removal is not at all regulated. It means that if we would like to rectify this problem, then we have to talk about the appointment and removal. इनके ऊपर बात करना बहुत जरूरी आएगा. ये लिखेंगे हम लोग. However, first I am dictating you. लिखिए आप. Heading is role and position of governor since independence. Role and position of governor since independence. लिखिए. In the initial period, the governor was considered, in the initial period, the governor was considered to be a position of ceremonial, considered to be a position of ceremonial, and the office was not considered to be, having any concrete functions. Was not considered to be having any concrete functions. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट लाइन पे लिखिए पद्मजा नायडू. I know that you know him very well. You all know him very well because he was the governor of West Bengal only. ठीक है. So write down Padmaja Naidu had said that governors are birds in the golden cage. Governors are birds in the golden cage. Next line. Pattabhi Sitaramaiah had said that governor has no other function other than writing fortnightly report. Fortnightly मतलब 15 दिन में, has no other function other than writing fortnightly report. Next line. During the initial period, the union and the state was ruled by one political party Full stop. Continue. Possibility of difference and friction. Possibility of difference and friction was minimized. Possibility of difference and friction was minimized due to one party system. Full stop. Continue. If at all there was any difference of opinion, comma, then it was resolved through unofficial mechanism. As union and state executive used to enjoy personal relations. Full stop. Continue. Some of the issues were also taken up through party structure. Some of the issues were also taken up through party structure. Next line. Both the chief minister and governor belonged to the same political party, comma, but the chief minister was politically taller, than those than those who occupied the office of governor. Who occupied the office of governor. Full stop. Continue. This created informal hierarchy. This created informal hierarchy and created more authority in the chief minister's position and created more authority in the chief minister's position. Next line. There have been number of instances where governor's office has been subordinated without any action being taken against the chief minister, against the chief minister's office. Okay. Next line. H.P. Modi learnt about the appointment of ministers on radio, which the chief minister had done. Next line. Y.N. Sukhthankar, T-H-A-N, ठीक है? Y.N. Sukhthankar was publicly humiliated by the chief minister, comma, governor did complain but nothing happened. देखिए नेक्स्ट लाइन पे CM of that period, chief minister of that period were so important that they played important role at national level also. Example, C. Raja Gopalachari. तो ये एक्चुअली मद्रास के सीएम थे. तो आई होप आप सब लोगों ने नाम सुना ही होगा इनका, बिकॉज ही वाज एक्चुअली अ नेशनल लीडर. सी राजा गोपालाचारी, राइट. We've got even, let's say, Morarji Desai, ये बॉम्बे के सीएम थे. So he even actually अगर आप देखें तो नॉन कांग्रेस फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर कौन बना था, ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट. सो इट मीन्स दैट ही वाज वेरी स्ट्रांग. जीबी पंत ये हैं, ये he was the CM of UP. Right, he was so strong that he was the one who had done the appointment of the ministers without asking the governor. ठीक है. Next line पे लिखिए आप. Write down the next line. In the early years of independence, in the early years of independence, appointment of governor was based. Appointment of governor was based on. Appointment of governor was based on healthy convention. Appointment of governor was based on healthy convention and the concerned chief minister was also consulted, and the concerned chief minister was also consulted. Full stop, continue. Post 1967, appointments has been highly politicized. Appointments has been highly politicized. Next line पे लिखिए, worn out politician, WORN, worn out मतलब घिसे पिटे. Worn out politicians as well as political leaders who faced electoral defeat were appointed as governors of various states. ठीक है. PN गाडगिल साहब हैं, शिवराज पाटिल हैं, we've got Sheila Dikshit madam. There were people. The names are not important because generally we avoid the names in the exam. Next line, apparently loyal, retired civil servants, retired civil servants were also appointed. Apparently loyal retired civil servants were also appointed. ठीक है. इसमें PC अलेक्जेंडर है, प्रभात कुमार हैं. ठीक है. PC अलेक्जेंडर तो हमने वो देखा हुआ, प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी टू प्राइम मिनिस्टर. There is another one, that is Prabhat Kumar. मतलब they are not the only one. We have Govind Narayan also, but we generally avoid the names. ठीक है. Next line. Towards the late 1970s and early 80s, Governor of Haryana, Karnataka, apparently were removed for their refusal to recommend for imposition of Article 356, imposition of Article 356. Next line. The National Front government had asked for the National Front government had asked for the resignation of governors appointed by previous government. Next line. In 2004 and 2014, similar things were done. Next line. So one can clearly see that as appointments and removal has not been regulated, so has exposed this constitutional post to politics. ठीक है? Now, at least we get this point that the office itself, the person himself is suffering. वो खुद परेशान है. From the outside, it feels so nice. ये कोई governor साहब है, ये वगैरह पूरा the kind of the money which is being spent on this office, the infrastructure, अलग ली का होगा, घर बहुत बड़ा घर होगा. The kind of support staff he would have, when he'll be moving. He is the first person of the state. You can understand कि कितना अच्छा है, सब कुछ spend होगा उन पे money. But then finally, we understand that this is what the position is now been. कि just because we favor the government, then there could be a probability that a person could be made a governor. देखो, it's not that somebody who after the retirement government gives the post to that person, that means that वो person loyal था to the government. No, not at all. ऐसा भी हो सकता है that the person is genuinely good for that post. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. जैसे we would find many times, and particularly in northeast states, retired lieutenant general, major general, they are made governors. होता है. And we've had an IPS being made governor of Nagaland. देखो कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या होता है that the northeastern state particularly, not necessarily it's only the center state relations, it's even the international relations. क्यों? क्योंकि बाउंड्री डिस्प्यूट है और बॉर्डरिंग स्टेट है वो. Also the politics is too complex, so many tribes there, everybody has their own view. So somebody who may have served for many years in that region may know the politics of that region or may understand the people much better. So don't think कि एक officer को retirement card मिल गया so they are loyal. हो सकता है बहुत ही अच्छे हो. We've had cases wherein post retirement the government servants जो थे, including the chief secretaries, they were given re-employed by the state. That is because the kind of experience these people have is at a different level. So it's not necessarily loyalty. It could be the process of the person is good, genuinely good. However, we do find the cases of apparently loyal. Let's say somebody is holding important post for many years in the government organization. तो तभी कभी लगता है फिर कि possibility हो सकती है they are more close or they are loyal to the government. However, इसलिए हमने लिखा है apparently loyal civil servant. ठीक है. Now, I had told you that the government, when it changed in 2004, जैसे पहले तो National Front government आई, they asked all the government, पुराने governors को बोला resign करो. Then later on, we saw that 2004 में, again all the governors are asked to resign. And same thing happened in 2014. ठीक है. With this, we clearly know that the office is an exposed office in at least, or this is a very much political office बना हुआ है. Now, when the 2004 में the government had asked for the resignation of these governors, almost everybody conceded and they resigned. However, there were few people who did not resign. बोला नहीं करेंगे. And they were then removed. So they challenged their removal in the court. And that is what is BP single case, जिसको हम लिखेंगे अभी. So in that, the court clearly said that the president, whenever he wants, he can remove the governor. मतलब the pleasure of the president still stays. ऐसा नहीं है कि Supreme Court ने बोला कि no, you cannot remove. However, the president, it was asked by the Supreme Court that though you can remove the governor whenever you want, however, you would avoid it under normal circumstances. मतलब normally आप मत हटाओ उनको. He said, Supreme Court said that judicial review would be available. मतलब आप remove करो एक governor को, he can actually approach the judiciary. Judicial review is available. But don't think that any one of us can complain. It is only that governor who is being removed. सिर्फ वो complain कर सकते हैं. So it means the removal of the governors of or in the office of the governor is open for judicial review. ठीक है, ये BP single case से ही हुआ था. However, ये भी clear है that you don't have any security because grounds कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. Supreme Court ने बोला कि कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Whenever the president wants, he can remove. They also reiterated, but then they've said again, normally आप मना नहीं करोगे, normally नहीं निकालोगे. They've even said that. In BP single case, Supreme Court actually even reiterated their judgment what they had given in Hargobind Pant case. Hargobind Pant case में issue क्या आया था? That in this particular aspect, problem क्या? Hargobind Pant case के लिए PT के लिए बड़े feeder points मिल जाएंगे, बहुत ज़्यादा feeder points मिल जाएंगे. We would write even Hargobind Pant case also. उसमें बोला है कि office of the governor is not subordinate to government of India. Clear cut बोल दिया है. It is because of this reason any job India में there are certain constitutional posts if you are holding you cannot be re-employed by the government under any position. नहीं होगा re-employed. However, you will find they would or they could still be made governors. क्यों? क्योंकि the office of governor is not a post under the government of India. The Hargobind Pant case even said that the governor is not accountable to the government of India for the actions, for his actions. He is not accountable to government of India. तो इसमें हमें points मिल जाएंगे. Hargobind Pant case के particular PT type. The point is हल्का सा stability थोड़ा सा शायद मिलने का हो because judicial review is available. However, only this governor can challenge it. At the same time, कोई ground नहीं है अभी भी. So you would like to have certain grounds, but then जब तक ground नहीं होगे तो दिक्कत होगा because if there is ground you would or you'll have to prove it. आपको prove करना ही पड़ेगा ये चीज़ है. ठीक है? If you can't prove it then तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं होता है. सो ऐसा कीजिए, लिखिए आप इसको बीपी सिंगल केस, ठीक है, राइट डाउन बीपी सिंगल केस, ठीक है, ये 2010 की है बीपी सिंगल केस, राइट डाउन the president has the power to remove a governor at any time, without giving him any reason, ठीक है, तो without giving him any reason को underline कीजिए, मतलब without reason he can be removed. So without giving him any reason and without granting an opportunity an opportunity to be heard, full stop, continue. However, this practice cannot be exercised in an arbitrary or unreasonable manner, and should be exercised in rare and exceptional circumstances, for valid reasons. Rare and exceptional circumstances for valid reasons. Next line. The mere reason that a governor is at variance, variance, governor is at variance with the policies and ideologies of the central government or central government has lost confidence or central government has lost confidence in him or central government has lost confidence in him is not sufficient to remove him, is not sufficient to remove him. Next line. Decision to remove a governor can be challenged in a court, can be challenged in a court, can be challenged in a court, can be challenged in a court. ठीक है. So, but then, if you'd like to write, you may write in the bracket that judicial review is available. However, we have written the same statement only, can be challenged in the court. तो हम लिख सकते हैं judicial review तो लिख सकते हो. If you notice that this was a 2010 judgment, right? So the National Front government did it. तब तक ये judgment नहीं थी हमारे पास. So decision to remove a governor could not be challenged. 2004 also when this was there and the governors did not resign, then finally 2010 this judgment came in. So just this argument, if the government says that they are having a different policies or ideologies and we don't have trust in the governor, it is not a valid ground. वैसे तो कोई ground ही नहीं. But then challenge governor's removal can be challenged and the governor खुद ही removal का वो challenge कर सकता है. ठीक है. Now, when 2014 happened, we already had BP single judgment. So now the problem was that what if they don't resign? And this actually happened. Again, the governors were asked to resign. Many resigned, but few did not resign. So government ने क्या किया? Means through the president only. Imagine that the person is governor of West Bengal, ठीक है? Or maybe Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu, any state you pick up. A big state. However, suddenly बोलेंगे भाई ऐसा करो, you become the governor of Sikkim. Now, Sikkim again is a beautiful state, no doubt. However, from a big state going to a smaller state comparatively, in terms of the domain, जो geographical था वो बहुत छोटा हो जाएगा. State wise, so there shouldn't be any issue. However, still feel होता है that from bigger state you are going to a smaller state. Now you are old also. So it's not you have to pick up these stuff. However, you will have your own paraphernalia. Traveling, shifting is थोड़ा सा tedious हो गया. You will have your memories in terms of stuffs and so many things. पहुंच गए आप. You try to settle. Within few days or few months बोलेंगे नहीं नहीं ऐसा करो. You become the governor of Mizoram. So you again say कि ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. Again Mizoram is a beautiful state, no doubt about that. कि भाई but आप travel करोगे, shift out करोगे. You try to settle in Mizoram और बोलेंगे ऐसा करो आप नागालैंड के बन जाओ. By this time you get frustrated. आप बोलो भाड़ में जाओ and you resign it yourself. That's how the resignation of the governors were taken post 2014. We've not had any issue because the same government was there since 9 years. So no issue regarding removal of governor आया ही नहीं है. But 2024, if at all the government at the center changes, you will find same news पूरी आएगी. All the governors would be asked to resign, सारे के सारे. And then there may be a possibility that somebody may not resign, and because of BP single judgment, वो challenge हो सकता है. So that we'll have another issue altogether. So we would see that possibility could be anything, right? We don't know what the future holds for us. So 2024 के टाइम पे देखा जाएगा कि क्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट आता है एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली कितना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है क्या है चीजें वेरी करके आएगी. ठीक है. सो आज वी हैव नॉट रिटन हरगोविंद पंत केस. लिखिए आप एक दो लाइन का गैप दीजिएगा. राइट डाउन हरगोविंद पंत केस. हरगोविंद पंत केस 1979 पॉइंट में लिखेंगे. पॉइंट में लिखेंगे. Write down the office of governor is not an employment. The office of governor is not an employment under the government of India. The office of governor is not an employment under the government of India. Full stop. Next point. ये सारी जो points है ना which we are writing in the हरगोविंद पंत case PT में बहुत important हो जाते हैं. Next point. He is not subordinate he is not subordinate or subservient or subservient or under the control of Government of India or under the control of Government of India or under the control of Government of India. Next point, he is not accountable to Government of India. He is not accountable to Government of India for the manner in which he carries his function. For the manner in which he carries his functions. ठीक है. Now we've seen basic aspect कि क्या है controversy. We know everything about the behavior of the governor also, and we know if the government changes, the behavior of the government would be changed, totally change हो जाएगा. अगले दिन से totally you'll find a transformed person. And if the government is different in terms of the center and state, totally, चाहे वो कैसे भी हो, behavior change करके रहेंगे. If they don't change the behavior, the governor would be changed. ठीक है. Now, right, so होता है ना कि when you think about the office of president, कितना powerful लगता है office of president. However, when we find out that reality is the president is not that powerful. ठीक है. However, their condition is कुछ तो ठीक है. When you look at the office of governor, the condition कितना difficult है. That one side fire from the state side, another fire from the center. वो फंसे पड़े हुए हैं. But then that is where the problem is. But biggest problem क्या है? That we have not been regulating the appointment and removal of the office of governor. Therefore, many commission or 100% of the commissions ने बोला है भैया removal and the appointment needs to be regulated. सब ने बोला है. We do find Sarkaria Commission, which was set up for the center state relations, 83 to 88 से थी वो, तो sometime you'll find 83 age लिखा, मतलब date लिखा है, sometime 88 लिखा हुआ. However, it is that 83 to 88 है, इसलिए अलग-अलग dates मिलती हैं. Now we've got the Sarkaria Commission का सबसे sense लगता है that Sarkaria Commission has spoken on appointment and removal. It's making more sense comparatively. Now for the exam, you don't need to mug up that this Rajmannar committee said this, Punchi Commission said this, second ARC said this, Sarkaria said this. Overall, had it been public administration, I would have told you कि ठीक है थोड़ा ध्यान से और देखो कि who said what. GS में चल सकता है that all the commission spoke on that some security needs to be provided. सबने ये बोला है. Agreed. They have also said that if the governor would like to be, if the president wants to remove him, he can be removed. Means the president, if he wants the governor to be removed, he can remove it. But the point is, overall issue complicated क्या हो रहा है? That the this particular domain, the domain, what I'm saying is the domain wherein that ये पुंची कमीशन ने ये बोला है, इसने ये बोला है, सबने तरीके अलग बोले हुए, no doubt about that. Neither you need to go into that domain. इसको इतना याद नहीं करना. याद कर लो overall that every commission spoke on that yes, some security needs to be provided. However, spoke on different lines. ठीक है, इतना काफी हो जाएगा. So ज़्यादा stress. Though I would be giving you committee wise, this committee said this, this committee said this, committee said this. कुछ चीजें ज़्यादा practical लगती हैं. जैसे Sarkaria Commission says that the person should not belong to the concerned state. ये तो अच्छी बात है. Means the governor, say if somebody is being made governor of West Bengal, the person should not be from West Bengal. ये तो अच्छी बात है. So we've got सरकारी कमीशन ये सब कुछ, all these commission recommendation fulfill नहीं हुई हैं. That's the reason we say recommendation. So you may use it as way forward में use कर सकते हो जब answer आएगा तो. And you will write specific way forward box and then you will explain only if the way forward has been asked. If not, under conclusion only you may write 1-2 line. So Sarkari Commission is saying that the person should not belong to the concerned state. The person should not have been. The person should not be active in politics recently. ये तो और अच्छी बात है. He should have left. मतलब he is out of politics. तो recently politics में नहीं होना चाहिए. So that's a good idea. A political person could be there. The person should have never been active in the concerned state politics. This is much better. If you'd like to have somebody in the वेस्ट बंगाल, तो वेस्ट बंगाल के पॉलिटिक्स में वो कभी नहीं इन्वॉल्व थे, वो तो और अच्छा हो जाएगा. सो दैट्स मेकिंग सेंस, मोर सेंस. देखो, राजमन्नार कमिटीज रिकमेंडेशन वुड बी कंपैरेटिवली मोर अग्रेसिव. इनकी अग्रेसिव होंगे ही होंगे. राजमन्नार कमिटी वाज सेट अप बाय द स्टेट ऑफ तमिलनाडु, so they would extremely talk about, मतलब they talk about delete article 356, delete article 357. That does not mean that every recommendation of Rajmannar is not making sense. They are making sense. However, more we'll write at the time of 356. ठीक है? M.M. Punchi Commission, they were basically Chief Justice of India थे, retired, मतलब ये हो चुके थे. The NCRWC, that is the National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution, second ARC, सब बात कर रहे हैं रिमूवल के लिए कि भाई ठीक है, कुछ ग्राउंड्स तो रिमूव के लिए रख लो, या फिर कुछ ने बोला है कि इट शुड हैपन थ्रू द रेजोल्यूशन, थ्रू अ रेजोल्यूशन बाय द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर. मतलब वेस्ट बंगाल असेंबली वुड पास अ रेजोल्यूशन दैट वी डोंट वांट XYZ गवर्नर, तो दैट गवर्नर वुड बी रिमूव्ड. इफ यू लुक एट दिस पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट, तो ज्यादा इसमें सेंस नहीं लग रहा होता है. व्हाई? बिकॉज as soon as the governor tries to become the representative of the state, which is his duty to be the representative of the state, उनको resolution pass करके निकाल दिया जाएगा. So how would he do his duty of the representative of the center? तो ये तो दिक्कत हो जाएगा. Another recommendation was CM से consultation से निकालो. Again, the person would, अभी से tilt center का है. Tomorrow, if the CM has the final authority to remove the governor, तो गवर्नर पूरा टिल्ट हो जाएगा सीएम की तरफ. सो व्हाट अबाउट द सेंटर? ठीक है, बट बेटर तरीका क्या होता है, दैट थोड़ा ग्राउंड बनाओ इसके लिए एंड गिव देम अ प्रेजेंट, मतलब उनको थोड़ा मौका दो, गिव देम एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी हर्ड. मतलब आप समझो, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस सेज दैट एवरी पर्सन वुड बी गिवन एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी हर्ड, और देयर हैज टू बी अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी हर्ड. गवर्नर को तो ये भी नहीं है. Agreed. After judicial review became available, अब है कि वो बोल सकते हैं कि ठीक है, this is what the aspect is, and he has a way out to prove that मैंने गलत नहीं किया हुआ है कुछ. Why am I being removed? However, earlier तो ये भी available नहीं था. If you look at overall, in terms of the, चलो पहले इतना ही लिख लेते हैं. ठीक है, लिखो. Write down. Heading is recommendations for appointment. Recommendations for appointment. ठीक है, लिखिए. नेक्स्ट लाइन पे लिखिए, सरकारिया कमीशन has said that ब्रैकेट में लिखिए also supported by second ARC, ब्रैकेट में लिखिए also supported by second ARC, that is second administrative reform commission. मतलब what Sarkari is saying, ARC is also agreeing to that. It means if you only write this commission's recommendation, तो आपके दो recommendation साथ आ गए हैं. ब्रैकेट क्लोज. Existing arrangement should continue. But certain conditions must be maintained. फर्स्ट पॉइंट लिखिए, इंडिविजुअल मस्ट बी एन, फर्स्ट पॉइंट लिखिए, इंडिविजुअल must be an eminent person, individual must be an eminent person, in some work of life. Individual must be an eminent person in some work of life, in some work of life. Next point लिखिए, should not belong to the, should not belong to the concerned state, should not belong to the concerned state. Next point, should not have been active recently, should not have been active recently, should not have been active recently in politics, should not have been active recently in politics. Next point, never have been active, never have been active, never have been active in concerned state politics, never have been active in concerned state politics, never have been active in concerned state politics. Next point, Article 155, Article 155 should be amended, Article 155 should be amended to ensure effective, to ensure effective consultation, to ensure effective consultation with the Chief Minister, effective consultation with the Chief Minister. ठीक है? Okay. Certain coalition government, if a minister directly disobey the decision of the Council of Ministers, then what will happen? बेटा देखो, ये coalition में all the people actually they have to, or Council of Ministers, they sail together, they sing together. However, अगर openly आना नहीं चाहिए, but that would show that friction बढ़ चुका है. But if that person belongs to a political party which has a huge stake in the government, कुछ नहीं होगा फिर. Until unless they are, मतलब if they, ऐसा भी हो सकता है, they say you take action against me, I would take the support. I don't mind, हम लोग बाहर चले जाएंगे. However you lose the government. तो एक्शन नहीं हुआ जाएगा. इसलिए तो प्रॉब्लम है कोलिशन के लिए भी कि बहुत थिन कोलिशन होगी तो डिफिकल्ट होगी. अगर अच्छी कोलिशन है, 2 पार्टी 3 पार्टी विद गुड नंबर्स, दैट इज स्टिल अंडरस्टैंडेबल. 15 पार्टी मिलके आई हुई है, 1 MP 2 MP, तो तोड़ना इजी हो जाता है वो. ठीक है. So if a person is convicted according to the provision of IPC, then who? President IPC is entitled to give him pardon, commutation, respite, etc. बेटा दोनों दे सकते हैं. वो मतलब कुछ कॉन्टेक्स्ट में डेथ पेनल्टी में जो है वो सिर्फ गवर्नर का फंस जाता है पार्डन में. ही कैन डू द अदर थिंग्स. हाउएवर इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द लॉज इस टाइप में, जैसे अभी मर्डर के केस में भी इशू आया हुआ था, वेयर इन that how can the governor give the pardon where the permission or where the person has been arrested on the charges of murder. However, the Supreme Court said कि काउंसिल मिनिस्टर ने एडवाइस किया है he can do that. But actually वो इवेंट में क्या हो चुका था कि he was already the life was or the imprisonment was commuted to the life imprisonment. तो pardon actually death penalty को नहीं हुआ था, but he had actually मतलब he was convicted for death murder. तो सेंटर ने बोला गवर्नर कैन नॉट डू दैट, बट सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला कि नहीं कर सकते. ये तो रिसेंट है, 2-4 महीने के अंदर केस भी होगा ये बीच में. So if the governor of Tamil Nadu don't listen to the advice of MLAs, then what option they had to implement their decision? बेटा फिर कोर्ट ही जाना पड़ेगा. आप मान लो तमिलनाडु पास करता है बिल एंड इट गोज टू द गवर्नर नहीं साइन कर रहा है, डिले कर रहा है. ठीक है, बहुत दिन का डिले, बिकॉज देयर इज नो टाइम लिमिट. सो मेनी बिल्स, 20-30 बिल्स होंगे पेंडिंग हो जाए उनके पास. मे बी ही मे रिजर्व इट फॉर द कंसिडरेशन ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट. बिल्स रिजर्व करते रहेंगे. सिर्फ कोर्ट में फिर ये केस जाएगा. देन वील हैव अनदर जजमेंट. सो दैट इज एक्चुअली गवर्नेंस के लिए. फिर ये तो हैम्परिंग द गवर्नेंस हो गया ना. मतलब एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी अगर ऐसा कर रही है दैट बाय हुक और क्रुक वी वुड मेक द लाइफ ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट अनकंफर्टेबल. द रियल सफरर्स आर द पीपल. So people should make sure that the governor जो political party को belong करेंगे, they should never elect. That is what the punishment has to be. But फिर से caste communal line पे divide हो जाएंगे तो फिर से हो जाएगा. So the state would not be able to show that they have done good work. क्यों? क्योंकि काम ही नहीं करने दिया होगा. तो frictions आ रहा होगा. Delhi is having also similar kind of problem. तो कोर्ट ही जा सकते हैं और कोई तरीका नहीं है बेटा. So if Honorable Supreme Court uses Article 142 to give provision for appointment and removal grounds of the government, as legislature will use this loophole. If Honorable Supreme Court uses Article 142 to give provision for appointment and removal of a governor, as central legislature will use this loophole there. बड़ा कुछ grammatical error है. However, central. What I have understood is, can the Supreme Court actually use Article 142 to give some कुछ safety in terms of appointment and removal? Yes, 142 में they can do anything. Unconstitutional नहीं करेंगे अगर, ठीक है, but they can say that again this is the office के context में, again principle of natural justice says that there has to be a ground or opportunity to be heard. ऐसा जगह कुछ कर सकते हैं. बट जुडिशरी जनरली कोशिश करती है कि वो इसके थोड़ा आगे ना जाए और हल्ला हो सकता है. हाउएवर 142 में दे कैन डू दैट. ठीक है. डिसीजन टू रिमूव एनी गवर्नर विदाउट गिविंग एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी हर्ड इज नॉट अ वायलेशन ऑफ नेशनल जस्टिस टू द गवर्नर. हाँ बेटा, ये तो मैंने बताया है. नेशनल जस्टिस तो ये तो सही है. तो अब कोर्ट में तो अलाउ हो गया नेशनल जस्टिस के हिसाब से. मतलब कोर्ट में तो आ चुका है दैट जुडिशियल रिव्यू इज अवेलेबल. तो मे बी प्रेसिडेंट साहब नहीं सुन रहे उनकी, बट ही कैन गो टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. तो जुडिशियल रिव्यू अवेलेबल है. आप काइंड ऑफ थोड़ा सा है कि जस्टिस मिलेगा अगर कोई इनजस्टिस हुआ है. इसलिए तो 2014 में कंपैरेटिवली इट वाज डिफिकल्ट. हाउएवर स्टिल द गवर्नमेंट वाज एबल टू रिमूव ऑल दोस पीपल. व्हाई ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डज नॉट प्रोवाइड फॉर सिक्योरिटी ऑफ टेन्योर और ग्राउंड्स फॉर रिमूवल. बट अब संविधान ने 5 साल का दिया तो हुआ है कि 5 साल का टेन्योर प्रोवाइड किया हुआ है. हाउएवर प्लेजर ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट भी दिया हुआ है, बिकॉज द कंडीशन एट दैट टाइम वाज डिफरेंट. संविधान की कंडीशन तब डिफरेंट थी. वी वर मेकिंग लॉट ऑफ राजाज महाराजाज एज गवर्नर्स. ठीक है, जैसे हम बोल रहे हैं दैट यू कम इनसाइड आवर स्टेट एंड वी वुड मेक यू अ गवर्नर. तो वी डिडंट वांट टू मेनी थिंग्स टू बी रिटन सो दैट वुड और बोले कि नहीं ये आपने ऐसा पॉलिसी बना दी तो आई वुड नॉट कम. तो बहुत नेगोशिएशंस हुए हैं. In a democracy, if the governor should not be entitled to exercise his rights of natural justice or the alteram partem, सही है. Therefore, what the situation of ordinary people will be? बेटा देखो वही होता है ना कि when we hear about the powers of the governor बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, but condition जब समझ में आता है तो फिर आंसू आ जाते हैं. They feel that this should not be the case, and that is the reason the behavior of the governor is like this. The people, वो जो behavior politics ये इंस्टीट्यूशन में बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोज हो चुका है. धीरे धीरे, पहले तो जुडिशियल रिव्यू भी अवेलेबल नहीं था, अब तो जुडिशियल रिव्यू आ तो गया कम से कम. सो द पॉइंट इज इफ यू डोंट गिव देम एनी ग्राउंड या कुछ इशू कुछ ऐसा नहीं है विंस एंड फिल्म्स एंड फैंसीज पे निकाल दे, तब तक गवर्नर साहब का बिहेवियर आप प्रोटेक्शन दे दो उनको, फिर आप देखेंगे कि बहुत बिहेवियर डिफरेंट हो जाएगा। हाउ प्रोटेक्शन मतलब देयर हैज टू बी डिमांड बाय द पीपल। Political parties are more inclined towards winning election and continuing in their power, and people आपस में caste and criminal lines में लड़के मर जाएंगे, ठीक है? That this my party, that is my party, irrespective who is मतलब we don't see the price what the people are paying for a party to win. We don't see the if let's say I like a political party and that political party is doing something wrong, I am not questioning that party. ये तो गलत हो जाएगा ना? So irrespective whichever party you support, if the party is doing wrong, it has to be said, no, you will not do that. And if we agree to that thing, it is violence, criminalism, anything, if we agree to that, then things would not be sorted out. So, खुद से ही करना है बेटा, whenever you go for voting, make sure you don't go on caste and criminal lines. See, look at the background of the work in terms of, and if you invest this kind of time, that is when we'll have good government. And that is serving the country. So voters' behavior needs to be changed. So क्या करना है? Background पूरा check करना है सबका. उनका भी पेपर में आ जाएगा. You don't need to Google it out. It will come in the paper. See their number of cases. See the types of the cases. There are some cases which are political. However, see if there are rape, dacoity, murder, terrorism ऐसे charges हो, तो then difficult होता है कि that these could be fake. Difficult होता है. This could be fake. However, you may find a candidate which is clean, having brilliant background, and they may be able to serve. Just because political party is different doesn't mean that you need to vote. You should not vote for them. Just because somebody you know that may not win, आपको लगता भी है कि ये जीतेगा नहीं, तो भी if he is a good person and you feel he needs to be elected, आप अपना वोट दे दो. Let that person also know कि that okay, I got 50 vote, I got 100 vote or 200 vote. I need to work more so that more people vote for me. ठीक है? तो इसके लिए प्रॉब्लम है. तो ये चेंजेस अभी नहीं आ रहे, कोर्ट से ही आएंगे मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली, एंड दैट विल बी बनाता एक स्ट्रॉन्ग डे होगा. चलो एक दो लाइन के लिखिए. फॉर रिमूवल, राइट डाउन फॉर रिमूवल, ठीक है? हेडिंग है फॉर रिमूवल, तो अपॉइंटमेंट लिख लिया हमने. फॉर रिमूवल लिखिए. सरकारिया कमीशन National Commission to review the working of the Constitution. National Commission to review the working of the Constitution, M.M. Punchi Commission, all recommended for fixed tenure, but also said that governor could be removed, before 5 years, but all gave different procedures. लिखिए. राजमन्नार कमेटी, ठीक है? लिखिए. Governor should only be removed under the ground of proved misbehavior, or incapacity, after an inquiry by the Supreme Court. After an inquiry by the Supreme Court. ठीक है, ये सरकारी राजमन्नार कमेटी बोलती है ये. This is also एक मतलब I'm saying Rajmannar committee generally recommendations are very aggressive. However, this recommendation does make sense. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट लिखिए सरकारिया कमीशन. सरकारिया कमीशन said the removal should be based on, Sarkariya Commission said the removal should be based on justifiable reason. Removal should be based on justifiable reason and should be allowed to explain his position before removal and while being removed they should be given ground for removal. Next line. NCRWC said, National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution said that it should be done in consultation with the Chief Minister. It should be done in consultation with Chief Minister. Next line. Punchi Commission said, Punchi Commission 2007 का है ये. Punchi Commission said it should be done through a resolution. By the state legislature. It should be done through a resolution by the state legislature. It should be done through a resolution by the state legislature. ठीक है, should be done through a resolution by the state legislature. Right. So overall, if you see that इनमें आप मिक्स करके आप मतलब आंसर पे आप डाल सकते हो कि many committees had spoken and if the committees gave different recommendations. However, the majority were of the view that they need to be given some fixed tenure. However, some security needs to be देना तो है. देखो एक स्टेट क्या बोलता है? स्टेट बोलता है गिव मी पावर टू अपॉइंट एंड रिमूव द गवर्नर. वो बोलते हैं. नाउ द पॉइंट इज दिस कैन नॉट बी गिवन. The ultimate power to appoint and ultimate power to remove the governor should be there with the center. And the major reason is that there are many things what the governor has to do विदाउट द एड एंड एडवाइस ऑफ द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर। ये जितने भी आर्टिकल है 163, 200, 239, 356, 371, सारे के सारे, these all our articles are those where the governor has to do other things without the council of ministers advice. So we would like to have an independent person also who, and also he is supposed to be representative of the union, ये भी बहुत जरूरी है। So otherwise the governor, if the control is with the council of ministers and the matlab the CM, then though even if the condition of law and order is bad, or even if the condition is bad wherein the constitutional machinery has broken down, the governor would never write a letter, लिखेंगे ही नहीं कभी वो, they'll never send the report altogether. So this would be wrong कि मतलब ये नहीं दिया जा सकता the power to appoint, ठीक है, मतलब कि उनसे कंसल्ट करके appoint. But देखो, that does not mean state should not be asked. Why can't the state be asked that okay, we are going to appoint this person, and if the state strongly says no, बहुत strongly no बोलते हैं, listen to the respect the review of the state. It's not that the state should be saying no for everything. Just because people are having different political ideologies does not mean they would not respect each other. So we would have many leaders in BJP जिनको TMC पसंद करती होगी, TMC के बहुत leaders होंगे जिनको कांग्रेस पसंद करता होगा, vice versa, TMC के बहुत leaders होंगे जिनको BJP भी पसंद करती होगी। ऐसे कुछ leaders ऐसे होते हैं, just because ideology different है doesn't mean कि लोग खराब है, no, ठीक है, perception belief सबका different होता है, तो जब perception belief अलग हो सकता है, then why it is that we can't have or we can't be friends with the other political party's person. There have been many families who have married, let's say the one from one political party, another person is representing another political party. ऐसे भी बहुत सारे cases हैं. So just because the person is from a different political party, तो एक neutral person को लेके आओ ना, go remove this point of a political person being appointed as a governor. Bring in a good person altogether who has not been active in the politics, proper संन्यास ले चुके 5 साल से, 6 साल से, कुछ साल से, and so the state may also say yes, ठीक है, कोई बात इनको ले सकते हैं. The state may see their backgrounds and they may say कि देखो ये इनका behavior throughout the career was very much biased. So with that kind of thing अच्छा रहेगा. Don't push, मतलब the view of the state needs to be respected. Don't push it. आप पुश करोगे गवर्नर. There are many states who actually opposed the appointment of a particular governor and the center pushed it कि नहीं यही रहेंगे. तो मतलब forget good relations between the government and this governor. Governor already knows that the state was totally anti to me for my appointment. वो तो बोलेंगे अब मैं बताऊंगा, बदला लूंगा इनसे. सेंटर का भी गलत हो गया कि सेंटर ने पुश किया है. So this aspect in terms of appointment बात कर लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Currently, constitution does not mandate it. If the center does it, it would be good for democracy. अच्छा रहेगा. When we talk about removal also, again the state cannot have an ultimate say, because the state also, the center needs to have ultimate control, because there are many things with this what the governor has to do independently of the state's view. And this representative of the state center also needs to be there. However, that does not mean that if the state does complains, the center does not listen to that. तो उनकी कंप्लेन को भी सुनना है. मतलब ये ही बैलेंस आउट हो सकता है, तभी आएगा, अगर अदरवाइज थिंग्स सत्यानाश हो जाएगा. If we expect yes constitutional amendment करके ही चीजें होंगी, however there are many things without constitutional amendment also could be done. Consultation with the CM कि कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कर लें डिस्कस. If the state complains regarding the behavior, center neutrally should see how the behavior is, and they find that the behavior is not good, they should speak to the governor कि देखिए आप get your things in order, right? So आप देखें बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा. So major problem in the Indian federalism इतना खराब है बहुत चीजें that center state बस लड़ रहे हैं आपस में, मौका मिल जाए बस, मौका, right? From the state side also state would fight, from the center also. So imagine position of the governor कि CM भी बोलेंगे गवर्नर को, अब गवर्नर को वहां पे भी वहां से सेंटर बोल रहा होगा कि अरे ऐसा करो ऐसा करो. आई फील मतलब एवरी डे इन द मॉर्निंग द फर्स्ट थिंग द गवर्नर मे बी थिंकिंग कि आज कैसे मैं तंग करूं, आज मैं क्या करूं, राइट? आई एम नॉट सेइंग अबाउट एनी स्पेसिफिक गवर्नर, इट कुड बी एनी गवर्नर वेयर द ऑपोजिशन पॉलिटिकल पार्टी कुड बी देयर. तो कंडीशन इतनी खराब होके रहती है वो, एंड दैट्स नॉट गुड. सिटीजंस वुड बी सफरिंग, बिल्स नहीं पास होंगे, बिल्स रिजर्व हो जाएंगे. जेन्युइन बिल्स शुड बी रिजर्व. इफ द गवर्नर इज लुकिंग एट अ बिल, वो देख रहे हैं, कोई बात नहीं. बट इफ इट्स बिकॉज ऑफ द पॉलिटिक्स, व्हेन द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी सेम पार्टी की है, तो बिल रिजर्व ही नहीं हो रहे, बिल पास पे पास हो रहे हैं, पास पे पास हो रहे हैं. सो दैट इज वेयर द प्रॉब्लम इज. आई होप यू गॉट द पॉइंट. ऐसे लिखिए, कंक्लूजन ऑब्लिक वे फॉरवर्ड. राइट डाउन conclusion oblique way forward. Write down, for smooth functioning of Indian federal structure, comma, it is necessary that the person to be appointed, as governor, should be such as to inspire confidence, from both the center and the state concerned. Next line. The office of governor has become a balance wheel, WHEEL, wheel of the center state relationship. Full stop. Continue. As the governor has to discharge certain functions in the state, as the center's representative, independently of the state government, because of center's ultimate responsibility, to see that each state functions according to the constitution, comma, it is not possible for a state to claim, C-L-A-I-M, it is not possible for a state to claim, C-L-A-I-M, claim a final say, to claim a final say, S-A-Y, final say in the matter of, final say in the matter of, in the matter of governor's appointment, in the matter of governor's appointment, full stop, but, comma, at the same time, but at the same time, the center should not seek, but at the same time, the center should not seek, S-E-E-K, the center should not seek to force, should not seek, S-E-E-K, seek to force a person, seek to force a person as a governor, upon a state against its wishes, upon a state against its wishes, otherwise relation between him and the state government will always be strained, and the state government will always be strained, ठीक है. So this is how the topic of governor is. गवर्नर का आप देख लीजिएगा, अपॉइंटमेंट्स मतलब डिपार्टमेंट में स्पेशल सेपरेटली क्या है प्रेसिडेंट से. You will also look at the bills, the types of the bills which it is compulsory for the governor to reserve it for the president. ये अलग से आप देखेंगे. There are certain bills जो mandatory president को reserve करने पड़ेंगे. टेक्स्ट में क्लियरली दिया हुआ, ठीक है. तो जनरली आप नोटिस करेंगे, जनरली थिंग्स which would touch the federal aspect. So mandatory कुछ ना कुछ रिजर्व करने होते हैं, वो रट लीजिएगा आप. And you'd also see the aspect of legislative council में जब नॉमिनेट करेंगे तो वो नॉमिनेशन देख लीजिएगा, उसमें गवर्नर्स कितने करते हैं एंड द कैटेगरीज. ठीक है, ये कुछ चीजें आपको देखनी है. Governor as a topic is over and we would be switching over to the next topic, that is the emergency. Is not important of governor, is not appointment of governor as a unitary feature. But kind of इसको माना जा सकता है that the center is appointing, so even the appointment of the governor could be considered as a unitary feature because it is the center. So governor के पास दो responsibility होगी, that a representative of the center, that's more about the unitary, and head of the state, but total of center का ही command है. तो pure the behavior of the governor is actually not at all unitary. Behavior तो pure मतलब not at all federal. The behavior of the governor जो है constitutionally it could be a mixed aspect, ठीक है, because the governor is supposed to play two responsibilities: agent of the center, representative of the state, the agent of the center as well as the head of the state. But behavior wise वो पूरा unitary में रहेगा. तो आप बता सकते हो the behavior wise itself पूरा unitary रहेगा, तब आप वैसे context में बोल सकते हो आप, ठीक है. And you've got और क्या होगा, got ठीक है. Now in this context we find that कि टॉपिक नया टॉपिक है emergency. though we've got only few minutes, I would not be starting this topic. आप लोग इमरजेंसी पढ़िएगा. इमरजेंसी बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक नहीं है, मतलब कल ही क्लास में खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. And then we'll go in for center state relations. So article 245 से आप पढ़ेंगे तो from 245 till 263 ये हम लोग करेंगे. And so tomorrow emergency, day after tomorrow जैसे center state relations. So next 3 days तक हमारा ये center state relations तक total मिला के means कल परसों नरसों it should be over. And then we would even see the reforms which are pending, that is electoral reform and the police reform. So ये हो जाएंगे मतलब in this time मतलब ये next 4 days में, because we are having multiple hours of class every day. ठीक है? So we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay? So thank you. All the best.